What's up, guys? Quick tutorial for Blood Screens Pro screen effect system on how to add your own effects that from any image, like add your own effects in minutes to the system to generate on screen with different offsets and stuff. Uh, I have this first of all, I recommend you guys checking the pre-made the images that I have in the asset, which is blood splatter, full screen blood effects, and ember stars, bullet holes in the screen, so you can get a hint of how it works. But I created this new folder here, mud, and I have this image here for mud. This is not optimal though because it's very edgy, but it's okay just to show you guys how it works. It's also not 4K, this one. The other asset images are 4K. um, we will drag this in here just real quick, and you will have to set alpha is transparency, so we can have transparency on it. And there you go, you have the picture. Now let's first add the manager, an empty BSP manager, and you will see that we have the debugger activated because I want to try it with the keys later. I want to try our new mud effect here. However, we haven't assigned any image effects yet. So we're gonna click on game object on Semi Studio, and we're gonna do an empty screen effect image, and we're gonna name it mud 01. And now you see here that we got a component BSP effect image, which is the component that our manager needs. We will drag the texture in here. You can also use a material. Some of the blood and stuff uses material for better looks. You can use that as well. We're going to disable raycast to target. Now, next thing you need is a profile, right? Which defines how we're going to offset this screen effect, because we can have multiple screen effects in the manager to generate them. But we will add a new, let's go to Iron Sami Studio, Blood Screens Pro, screen effect profile, and we're going to name it mud effects 1. And these are the values, right? So display time, I'm gonna put it to 3 because I want to display it for 3 seconds. I want it to fade later with a 1 second fade. Since this image is, we're gonna check these values very soon when we got this all set up, right? um, we're gonna go to the mud prefab we have here, or game objects, right? And we're gonna drag in this profile, and we might have some more subdivisions on the fade if we're gonna use a fade, which I think we will because it's a square image. This is basically opacity from the side, so transparency coming inward. So how would I explain that? That's basically easing in, maybe, or easing out. I'm not sure which one it is, but it's transparency on the edges of the picture. We have the it's already finished. We can create a prefab from that. Just drag it down here, and boom, we have a mud prefab. We will go to the manager, and actually we're gonna drag this prefab into the blood screens HUD, which is the parent HUD that holds all the screens, right? And we're gonna go to the manager, and since I'm gonna use stack on top mode, we don't need, we can ignore the overwrite prefabs here. This is basically if you want them to overwrite each other, then you would just drag these ones out here. This is for the pooling system, so it's not really important right now, but I want stack on top, so I'm gonna use that, and I'm gonna drag this mud in here in the element, and then we will use pooling. So we're not gonna use a flash effect, so I'm not gonna enable that. We will, however, use pooling, so we will have to drag one of our mud prefabs there, so it will create, and I'll pool size 8, yeah. Now we should be able to play this and use the debugger to check if it works. I forgot one thing. let's close this down. You have to make deactivate the mud object here, even the prefab, because our manager will handle that. So deactivate this and now start. And now we should probably, we can click X and it will appear, but it's only a small piece, as you see, of the mud when I'm clicking X, right? So we're gonna go to the profiles, and this is where it gets interesting because we can edit everything from here. We are gonna set the size to 1 and 2, between 1 and 2, and we're gonna have the range a little more actually, so negative 0.5 up to 0.5, right? And the Y range negative 0.5 to 0.5. Rotation, it can rotate anyways. We're going to enable vertical mirroring as well, which means we are enabling upside down mirroring. The normal mirroring is only mirroring left and right, so sideways. If you don't want this option for any procedural effects, you can disable them here. By disabling this will just show the image statically on the screen. We will we will try without edge fade first, right? And now we will click X again, and you see that the image is way bigger and more random on this, like where it is. It probably will be easier for you guys to see if I make it less big. Yeah, you can see where it. Now you see that the edges of it are basically edgy. I don't like that, so I'm gonna enable the fade option. I'm gonna have some fade softness, and we're gonna actually even fade it even more. As you can see, you can fade it even more because you have the option in mud here as well, fade softness and stuff. But as we're doing it in the profile now, this is how it would look. But you can basically add any features, water, you can add your own materials to this. You can change these values to really procedurally generate all of this. There's different public APIs, so I would click Y now and it should spawn these without me clicking, yeah. But that's basically it, how you add your own like prefab to it, your own image. You basically just use the image, you add the BSP effect image component and drag the texture in there and then add a profile and drag it to the manager, and that's basically it. You have your own like effect, and this goes for any effect really. Um, I will do more tutorials coming now in the few days on the documentation covering the flash and other stuff. But for now, yeah, that's it. That's it, guys.